Donald Trump was just hit with some terrible news today. And not just that, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden showed today why they are the best fit to be in office right now and why Kamala Harris is the best fit to win in November. So today, Kamala Harris and President Biden made history as the first administration to successfully negotiate the cost of prescription drugs down with Medicare. And as a result, 10 of Medicare's top costing drugs will see their prices cut. Americans will see $6 billion in taxpayer savings. Seniors will see $1.5 billion in cost savings. Let me break down some of these cost savings. First, you have Eliquis, which is a major blood thinner. Before it was $521, now it's $231. Jardiance goes from $573 to $197. Xarelto goes from $517 to $197. Januvia goes from $527 to $113 and more. I mean, you have cost savings across the board, and this is just the beginning. This was done because of the Inflation Reduction Act, which every single Republican in Congress voted against. If you recall, the Inflation Reduction Act not only gave the Medicare finally the ability to negotiate the cost of prescription drugs because that was barred by federal law before, but also it capped insulin costs for many individuals across America at $35 a month, which has been really, really big. So watch Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris and President Biden appeared at a rally where they kind of made this announcement today in Maryland. So watch her explain exactly what this means for families. Watch this.
We finally addressed the long-standing issue that for years was one of the biggest challenges on this subject, which was that Medicare was prohibited by law from negotiating lower drug prices. And those costs then got passed on to our seniors, but not anymore. 2 years ago, we gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for the first time in history. And here is why that matters. It is nearly impossible for a patient to negotiate lower prices by themselves. Just think about that. Somebody who needs the medication, who may be suffering from a serious illness, that they would by themselves be able to negotiate against a big drug company to lower their prices is virtually impossible. It's one person against a huge corporation. But Medicare represents more than 65 million people. And so Medicare has collective bargaining power. And now Medicare can use that power to go toe-to-toe with Big Pharma and negotiate lower drug prices. Thank you, Joe.
Now, President Biden quickly got up, and not only did he joke about Donald Trump, calling him Donald Dump, but he also highlighted how Kamala Harris to him is going to be a hell of a president of the United States. And I tend to agree. Watch this moment.
The guy we're running against, what's his name? Donald Dump or Donald, whatever. They want to get rid of this, what we passed. They're fighting to get rid of what we've just passed. No, I'm serious. Folks, I have an incredible partner. The progress we've made, she's going to make one hell of a president.
Now, on the other end, Donald Trump got hit with some pretty bad news. I mean, polling has Donald Trump down in a number of states now, and Kamala Harris is surging. The markets have Kamala Harris surging. The regular polling has Kamala Harris surging. And what's interesting is that the Dow Jones, like the stock market, is hit above 40,000 for the first time in weeks. And many investors thought that, hey, or many economists thought that Kamala Harris will contribute to a decline in the market, but it's been the opposite. So we've seen a market rise while Donald Trump has really not been able to do anything about it. So Donald Trump today shook up his campaign staff, hiring Corey Lewandowski to kind of oversee everything. If you remember Corey was actually his first campaign manager back in 2015 and 2016. He left. He was not with the campaign in 2020, and he was not in the campaign until now in 2024. So he's back in a major shakeup. A lot of people have been criticizing Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita for the fact that this campaign really wasn't prepared for Joe Biden to drop out. It's interesting. The entire country saw the writing on the wall with Joe Biden. The entire country thought that Joe Biden would likely drop out of the race, except Donald Trump and his team, because their campaign was built on defeating Joe Biden, not defeating Kamala Harris, and it showed. In other news, Tim Walz and JD Vance have both agreed to a debate that's going to be October 1st. Tim Walz agreed first. JD Vance followed suit on Twitter. So they're going to be debating. Meanwhile, Donald Trump himself is begging Justice Merchan in New York to delay his upcoming sentencing because he claimed it's election interference for him to be sentenced during the election, especially since early voting would have already begun by September 16th, which is when he's scheduled to be sentenced. It's unlikely Justice Merchan is going to agree to this. It's likely Trump will be sentenced at some point in September, unless, there's still the motion to vacate pending. Theoretically, Merchan could throw out all of Donald Trump's convictions if he believes that the Supreme Court's immunity decision precludes Trump from being convicted on these charges. So we don't really know right now, but it's highly unlikely that the sentencing is going to get moved. And finally, the United Auto Workers, which is one of the biggest unions in the country, announced that they are going to do one of their biggest political mobilizations in the union's history for Kamala Harris, getting union members out to the doors to get retirees and their family members out to vote. They're going to do it online, in person. I mean, it's going to be a major effort. If you recall, the UAW actually filed federal labor charges against Donald Trump and Elon Musk because Donald Trump praised Elon Musk for essentially intimidating workers by firing them or threatening to fire them if they went on strike, and then called Donald Trump a scab. Well, UAW has since endorsed Kamala Harris and are going to get to the polls to make sure that she wins in November, folks. Election season is heating up. I'm going to be providing you updates every step of the way, so be sure to subscribe to this video to support my work, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.